This is ION Hong Kong with Key.
And this is Harminder, and we'll be discussing the top news for the week involving Hong Kong and China.
Welcome back to the second part of ION Hong Kong, and we have our guest Jimmy. Jimmy from the Frontline Tech Worker. And you look very shy today. Why?
Hi.
And so, Jimmy, how would you describe your group, and what kind of group is that?
So, Frontline Tech Workers Group, it's a political advocacy group started around February. So
after the umbrella movement.
After the umbrella movement, before the ITB, when the ITB was brought up in Laco for a vote again, so we started as a group who are against the formation of ITB under the current recommendations.
So why don't you explain why you're rejecting the ITB?
We're not rejecting the idea of ITB.
What the current framework of it, what you're rejecting about it.
Okay. So we read the recommendation documents submitted by the government to LegCo, and we found out that it's lacking a lot of content, meaning that it doesn't have an overarching vision of how this government wants to bring the Hong Kong's economy towards. It doesn't have any framework or any ways to hold the government accountable.
I see. But the last time when we interviewed with Charles Mok, he mentioned that actually before we did have one IT bureau, and now we're just asking that to come back. So why you guys objecting it? Because we had it before already.
Right. That ITTB, that was ITTB under Chief Executive Tung Chee-hwa's tenure. So I think what Charles Mok wanted is the exact same thing to be brought back, because even though it was just there for a couple of years, we've seen that over the in the grand scheme of things, there's some bad things and there's some good things. There are some good things that have been done before, but
like Cyberport.
Well, definitely not
bad
Cyberport,
example,
right? Yeah, that's a bad thing. Right?
Yeah.
So Cyberport, as we all know, is mostly a real estate project.
Right.
It hasn't done much for the Hong Kong information technology sector.
And there was no bidding process. It went straight to Chung Kong.
Pretty much, yeah.
So the whole thing was a stinker. It's in a terribly inconvenient location. There's no MTR access.
Right.
And it's still a ghost town after all these years, really.
Right. It's
they have a cinema.
They have a cinema, people. You can go watch your IMAX films there.
Right.
Yeah. So why? What was the problem of bringing it back? It seems to be, they at least you said that they have some grand ideas too for the plan, right?
They have done something good over the years, but that's mostly after ITDB had gone away.
Okay. So basically, without.
So the private sector did it, really.
It's half and half. So the public sector actually is continuing improving the existing schemes or funding schemes mostly. So there is so Cyberport actually has a CCMF scheme.
CCMF.
Right, Cyberport creative micro funding or something.
The microfunding scheme, yeah, right.
Yeah, the microfunding scheme. So over the past couple of years, they actually have done better, right? So the panel that are better at picking quality startup companies to invest in, and the money they invest in is not a whole lot actually. So, but just enough to kickstart. It's like a seed funding for these companies. And they have expanded the number of winners over the past couple of years, so there are more quality startups in Hong Kong can benefit from it.
But all these done without the government intervention?
Well, Cyberport, as far as I know, is semi-governmental. It's not completely government owned, right? So, and it's not. So from as far as I can tell, it hasn't been under the spotlight of public scrutiny for the past 10 years or so, right? So a lot of them, so they actually have a lot of room to maneuver to improve on their existing projects and schemes. So I think that overall the industry probably works better, without a whole lot of government intervention. We've seen a whole lot of quality startups like Google Van and IONHK and a lot of very, very highly visible startups in Hong Kong coming up these past 5 years or so, right? And all these are done without a whole lot of help from the government.
So what do you think the IT Bureau is really about?
That's the question that we've been all asking, right? And the document submitted to LegCo actually doesn't say anything. It just says that we need the current government, the current Department of Commerce, right? What was it called again? The
Commerce and Economic Development Bureau.
Right. The head of it is not very, he doesn't have any bandwidth to take care of technology and
innovation
policies.
This is the person appointed by CY Leung to head up this bureau?
Right, exactly.
Right. Didn't he head up Cyberport?
We're not talking about him. We're talking about the current head of the Department of Commerce.
Oh, that's Greg So then.
Yeah, Greg So, yeah. That's right. So, so the excuse is he doesn't have any bandwidth, right? But then again, why are you appointing someone who doesn't have any bandwidth to take care of this policy? It's the department's job to develop and continuing improving existing policies on innovation and technology. So that's the scale. So the proposal wants to extract OGCIO, the Office of the Government's the Chief Information Officer, right? So basically the government's IT department, so to speak, and the Center of Innovation and Technology, was it called? I don't know what the English name is. Okay. But so basically the entire proposal is to extract these two sub-departments out and to form its own department. So I think the proposal contains about $30 million for these two departments, and the government. Well, and the head of the department and a couple of AOs, right? So, and that's it. And in terms of policy, it doesn't have anything, right? It says so. It feels like the goal is to first establish this department, and then let's see what this department will come up with.
So they didn't really have a blueprint plan for like the coming 3 years how it will run, or they would just wait until they form?
In 3 years they have not had a plan, because they've been pitching this for 3 years.
They've been pitching this for longer than 3 years. Okay. So remember CY Leung, even before he came into the office, he wanted to have 14 departments. So one of them is the technology, the innovation technology department, right? And even back then, when you looked at the proposal from 3 years ago, it looks exactly like the ITTV that we had, right? So including the broadcast, the government department that is responsible for broadcast policies. Right?
But I also read the news about the resource of Hong Kong, like the people, are they well trained enough? It seems that these young people who graduated from the university, they got a very high salary of IT job in Hong Kong because we don't have enough IT people. Would that IT bureau help on that? I mean, do they have any plans on education with that too?
Well, there is a certain number of items, like 1 or 2 items listed in the proposals, right? But again, that's what we are already doing now. It's not something new, right? We don't need a particular new bureau to take care of that. So the new bureau, the Innovation Technology Bureau just keeps enumerating what we have. It hasn't done nobody has done a review of what problems that we're having, such as, and what goals or specific goals that we want to meet, like how much in terms of GDP in our economy we want the technology sector to build up to, right? So right now I think it's less than 1%.
So after this, I mean, the IT Bureau now is on the table of Legislative Council, and some of the legislators are having the filibuster there. And it seems that Charles Mok is not part of them. And have you ever talked with Charles Mok and what you guys think about and why you guys are against it?
We have. Actually, that's the first thing that we've done when we started the group, even before we started the group in February. And we basically have been asking Charles Mok what this ITB is about. And he basically have been telling us what the government has told him and what he wants, but in terms of what's on the table in the proposal, as far as we know, it's the same line that the government's been telling us, which is, first establish the ITB first, because it lifts the industry to a more visible place, such that when foreign companies come to Hong Kong,
they can approach the government.
They can approach to a higher level of the government, right? So and the plan seems to be that they want the bureau to have more power to coordinate between all these different bureaus in the government.
So, but is there a worry that this IT bureau will just be used to hand out cushy government contracts for? I mean, the government is the last entity that should be promoting IT. Just look at their websites.
Yeah.
They're absolutely archaic and pathetic. Yeah. And very hard to navigate. So they think that having an IT bureau will magically make them very IT proficient, and
definitely that's mostly our concern, because we know the government hasn't had a very good track record in the past in terms of doling out or even picking out who should win a particular contract.
Right.
And that's the exact same thing that we're against, because the proposal doesn't say anything. Like, it doesn't have any key performance indicators.
Right.
Like, even if we let you pass, right? So even if ITB got established, right? You will have to come up with policies, right? But we don't know what you're going to come up with. We're not going to come up with something for you. But give us something, right? What policy?
You want concrete proposals. You want a charter. You want
we don't want concrete proposals. We want indicators that that tells us if you or when you come up with a proposal, how do you determine that after a year or two executing that, how do you determine that you've successfully done what you set out to do?
Maybe independent audit program or something like that.
Anything. It
seems it should be included in the plan before they set up the bureau. I thought this is quite.
Look at the money they're asking. 30 million or something. I mean
30 million just to establish the positions for the ITB. To be fair, it's not a whole lot of money, right? But then it's public money.
Right.
We want accountability, right?
Well, we don't really see much nowadays.
There isn't a whole lot in the proposal, right? So they're basically asking us, hey, give us the power, and then we'll use it. We don't know what we're going to come up with. We're not making any promises, but give us the power anyway.
I see. Yeah. But I want to ask about after the umbrella movement and you guys formed this group, and at the same time, actually, a long time ago, we also have the IT Voice. Why we have two different professional groups? How you guys distinguish yourself with IT Voice?
Right, IT Voice is actually a group that was established, I think, back in 2007.
So you say that they're old?
Well, they're not that. they're not old, but the goal of IT Voice is very different from what we want to do. So the goal of IT Voice, from as far as I can tell, is to bring the electorates into the ECC, right?
I see.
So into the EC actually. So and what we set out to do is not to join in any elections. What we wanted to do originally was to try to propose, try to bring a voice to the IT sector, the current information technology and technology workers in general, to the legislators and the government.
But would you say that it would diverse the voice, because like this IT bureau issue, it seems that IT Voice they didn't really say that they will support the filibuster, but you guys are the one that who expressly saying that you guys will support the filibuster. It seems to for a general public like me will say, oh, what do you guys want? What do your IT guys want actually? Right.
So I've said that we want the government to make more promises, right? Not concrete proposals. We do understand that it's asking too much for the government to have any concrete proposals before ITB has been established. But there is a committee right now, right? The Information and the Innovation and Technology Committee, right? So that committee should set out to do the job that we've been asking for, which is to review the current policy on innovation and technology, right? And find out what's wrong, what can be improved, and put that proposal into the current proposals for ITB, right? And in October, when the new session of LegCo begins, we can look at the new proposal and determine whether it's enough for us to for the LegCo members to pass it, right? But under the current proposal, we cannot accept it because
we're going to have to leave it at that. Thank you, Jimmy, for coming in.
Thank you, Jimmy.
That's Frontline Tech Workers. You can find them on Facebook and follow all their work there. And our final segment, we have our Shame on You award. We usually give to the worst person or persons of the week. And well, who do you nominate, Key?
I actually will nominate the photographer.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And and the mother. And that allowed such sexually inappropriate pictures of a minor.
Right.
So to that photographer and the mother of that child, you have just received the
shame on you
award. And you should be ashamed of yourself for publishing that smut. So thank you for joining us this week. We're actually taking a summer hiatus for a little while. We'll be back later. It's too hot and we want to enjoy the summer. We'll be back. You can continually follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/IONHK pod. All our updates will be there, and when we'll be back and all that. Follow us there, and Twitter, same thing, twitter.com/IONHK pod. So thank you for joining us. We'll be back after the summer. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.